When Chris Pine took over as Captain James T. Kirk in the Star Trek franchise in 2009, it wasn't long until he had to violate the Prime Directive. In the second installment, Into Darkness, he had to break the rule to rescue his friend Spock. Against Spock's wishes, of course. The straight-laced, rule-following Spock revealed the violation in his report, which cost Kirk his position, especially after Kirk, a constant rule breaker, didn't mention it in his report. Since it's fiction, it all worked out for the best in the end. Not being a true Trekkie, I didn't know the depth of ethical analysis in the Star Trek world until working on this. Considering how many books, TV shows, and movies have been made, it shouldn't be surprising that it's discussed. A lot. The idea of obedience to the law, and when or if it is right to break a law to do the right thing, is a regular topic. Ultimately, it leads to the conclusion that you can, if you can get away with it. But considering the devastating impact on others, breaking the law wasn't really the right thing to do. Effectively, it's a futuristic version of life during the Old Testament judges. Every man did what seemed right to him. Judges 21, verse 25. The question for today's Morning Minutes in the Bible is this: can we disobey God in order to obey Him? When David was fleeing from Saul, he begged for food from the priest, who ended up giving him the holy bread that was for the priest only. 1 Samuel 21, verses 1 through 6. That was a clear violation of law. Speaking of the bread, Moses wrote, "And it shall be for Aaron and his sons, and they shall eat it in a holy place, for it is most holy to him from the Lord's offerings by fire, his portion forever." Leviticus 24:9. In other words, it was set apart specifically for the priests. Since David was not a priest, he had no right to eat it. Giving it to him was a violation of the law, and he was wrong to take it. 1,000 years later, Jesus brought it up when the Pharisees accused his disciples of violating the Sabbath law, Matthew 12, verses 1 through 8. Some think he was excusing David, but in his comment, Jesus noted it was wrong. As a side note, in the movies, Kirk's decisions to break the rules constantly result in death and destruction. David's visit to the priests and their decision to help him led to their death at the order of Saul. So if Jesus wasn't approving bending or breaking God's law, what was he saying? His first point was simple. Their tradition was not law, and they were wrong for thinking it was. His disciples may have broken with Jewish tradition, but they had not broken God's law. However, his real point was that they didn't understand him or the law. If they did, they wouldn't have elevated their traditions to the level of law, nor would they have proved David's involvement in law breaking or excused their own law breaking. To answer our opening question, can we break the law to obey the law? No, absolutely not. Yet we live in a religious culture that almost immediately says, yes, we can, and sometimes we must. If we think the answer is yes, then just like the Pharisees, we don't truly understand Jesus. In fact, we don't know him at all. I hope you'll think about that the next time you're tempted to break God's law in order to obey him, because it just doesn't work that way. Well, thanks for watching today's Morning Minutes in the Bible. Until next time, this is James McClenny hoping you have a great day.